Ty Jerome. Poole this time lines up in the backcourt. DiVincenzo and Thompson, far side of the lane, top and bottom. And Draymond Green toward the baseline on the near side. Draymond will screen for DiVincenzo. They both screen for Thompson, who catches. Corner three is on the way. No good. Poole runs down the rebound. Poole forces up a three. It's blocked. Tipped out. DiVincenzo grabs it in rhythm. Buried it. Point six. He tied the game. Timeout Atlanta. The Hawks bench, they're looking around. They are stunned. The ball is deflected right out by DeJounte Murray. It was right to DiVincenzo, who comes through with yet another big three. But this game is not over. 0.6 to go. That's plenty of time for a catch-and-shoot situation for Atlanta, and they will move the ball to the front court.
Tim Roy on the call for 95.7 The Game, the voice of the Golden State Warriors, of course, on the radio side. Fitzgerald doing his thing on NBC Sports Bay Area. Dante DiVincenzo. Boy, did he get off to a rough start. You know, you think about the Denver game in the first week of the season. Bones Highland had his way getting by him, blowing by him all day long. Then he suffers a hamstring injury against the Sacramento Kings. Comes back, struggling, shooting 35% for the three-point line. But all of a sudden, in these last 12 games, Dante DiVincenzo looks like a guy who's replaced Gary Payton II. Heck, if you want to say Kuminga's replaced Gary Payton II, I think they're fine without GP2. GP2's you have to play a game. Mm-hmm. You see Dante DiVincenzo picking up full court on Damian Lillard, stealing the ball from Damian Lillard, hitting big threes. Well, in his last 12 games, he's grabbed at least 7 rebounds. So he's rebounded the basketball. Yeah. He's hustling from his guard spot. He's giving you nearly 11 points per game. But the percentages from the three-point line, he's shooting a career high over these last 12, 41.5% from three. Wow. And that is the difference. If he hits that three,
yes,
this guy's a player, man, and he's one part of your 7 to 8 man rotation in the playoffs. So really impressed with Dante DiVincenzo, especially over the last 2-3 weeks.
He's given them lots of different elements of players that have been very successful off the bench for the Warriors. Like his smarts in terms of when to push tempo, when to slow it down, reminds me of Sean Livingston, right? Because Livingston had that, like, hey, I got this. Like Iggy used to give you that. Yes.
Yeah, like, hey, chill out for a second.
Yes, like let's reset the offense. Let's get a good shot here. Like he has a really good basketball IQ. And then you talk about the GP2 elements that he brings to the table. How about his offensive rebounding?
Yes.
I mean, he is, like, I did not know that he was so scrappy as an offensive rebounder.
4 last night.
I mean, and the timely ones, it feels like. And then, obviously, the 50-50 hustle plays are outstanding. Defensively, he's done a really good job staying in front of people. He has been a great acquisition. As frustrating as JMG has been this year, JaMychal Green, for the Warriors, I feel like DiVincenzo has been a great addition.
It started on that road trip where his father traveled around with the team. He had some big nights in Milwaukee, big night in Indiana. And, of course, he played well in Philadelphia, hitting 5 threes in the first quarter. Look at his three-point shot just on his homestand. 5-9 versus Memphis. You get the 19 points. Against Charlotte Hornets, he goes 0 for 4, but he grabs 9 rebounds and 7 assists. Then you look at him against Utah, the back end of a back-to-back. He hits another 5 threes, goes 5-9. Struggles from the three-point line against Portland, but he hits the big three at the end of regulation, and he plays solid defense. How about him waving off Klay Thompson saying, I got Dame Dollar. I'm picking up full court.
I've noticed this. They did this with Draymond, too, last night, where Trae Young tried to get the JP switch, and then they fought through it, and I was like, thank you. Finally, fighting through the screens. My big frustration with the NBA, I feel like we give up the switch, just the league as a whole, gives up the switch too quickly.
Way too easily.
Right? Like, fight through
all the time. Fight through that.
I'm not saying that, like, you can't switch on times. Like, if Bam's out there or Draymond's out there, like, okay, you want to switch to get to one of those defenders, fine. But, like, fight through it every now and then. And seeing him fight through that and say, no, I got this, so refreshing.
So refreshing. And he's helping Jordan Poole play off the ball, especially so when you get Steph back and Wiggins back, that second unit all of a sudden looks stabilized with Dante DiVincenzo playing as a backup guard spot. He's helping out Ty Jerome. And he's speaking up at the podium. The way DiVincenzo talks, like he's been on this roster for 3 years, saying this is not Warriors basketball. We've got to move the ball around. We've got to clean up the third quarters. Giving up 40 points to Portland in the third is way too much. I'm like, man, this guy's speaking up now. Very good sign for Dante DiVincenzo as we get to the calls here for the first time in 2023. Real quick, Shasky.
I did not think that Anthony Lamb, Ty Jerome, even Patrick Baldwin Jr. as, like, key contributors to a successful homestand in December and January didn't have it on my success chart.
And you look at the standings. Memphis was ahead of them.
Oh, they're right.
They blow them out. You caught Portland already.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Utah, you're surpassing Utah. You're now tied with the Phoenix Suns at 20-18. What the hell is going on in Phoenix? The Warriors, folks, are knocking on the door again. I'm not betting against them to lose 4 times in the Western Conference in a playoff series.
They're 4.5 out of number 1 spot?
Yep.
Everything's right there.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Everything's
saying.
right there.
Everything's right there. Let's go to Eric and Millbrae, then we'll get the coach of Vallejo. Eric, what's happening? You're on the roast.
What's up, fellas?
What's
Man,
up?
I'm pumped. Being at that game last night, I honestly thought they were going to lose that game 3 different times. And the way the Hawks
Just 3?
that way, and you're right about Trae Young, man. He's incredible to watch offensively, but man, that head bob foul that he likes to do, it's just bogus, man. These refs got to quit falling for it because he used that tactic and kept working over and over again. But nonetheless, they'll take that L. But I thought 6-2 was best case scenario. I counted the Grizzlies loss, and I thought Portland would probably get him out. But shows what my dumbass knows, and I'm gladly wrong. And I'm never going to count this team out at home, man.
No.
Even without Curry and Thompson, I just think the crowd, the energy, and the way these, especially the role guys play when they're at Chase Center as opposed to on the road, just makes this team so damn special. And in a roundabout way, this Curry and Wiggins injury has showed bench mob, hey, you guys can be part of the core rotation, and Curry can count on you guys in big playoff minutes. But guys, I'm really just pumped about what I'm seeing. Besides Clay having that 50-piece, I think Dante DiVincenzo has been one of the unsung heroes. Looney, of course, doing what he does with no attention as usual.
No doubt.
He's just incredible. So just hats off to what this team is doing. I don't think there's any other team who could probably miss their top 2 players this long and just battle and compete and win games like they're winning right now. So incredible to watch and keep this going, guys. They go 8-0, fellas. It's on the table now. I think 8-0 is doable. Thanks, guys.
No problem. They may go. I was thinking 6-2. You go on the
6-2
road at
been
21-20. Now you can get greedy.
I know.
Now you can
really
get greedy here with Detroit and Orlando on deck.
Can we start like this sentence by saying no injury to Steph Curry is ever a good one?
Nope.
No injury to Andrew Wiggins is ever a good one. No one wants those guys hurt. But in terms of silver linings, right? I feel like Kerr was kind of forced
to play the youngsters.
Yeah, and not just that, but like just to experiment and give people longer leeways and the ability to struggle a little. And what it's done, like even James Wiseman, and I know he's got the ankle thing right now, but like James Wiseman played really good in small, tiny little stretches, which to me is a quantum leap from where we were a month ago.
No, he looked playable.
All right.
He looked like he wasn't a stiff on defense.
Exactly.
His positioning was better defense.
He looked aggressive.
Contesting shots in the Memphis game.
Yeah.
Rolling to the basket, finishing with dunks, and he's smiling on the sidelines again. Wiseman got better. Kuminga, you're forced to play him 20-plus minutes, and all of a sudden, I can't unsee what Tim Roy told us the first day he ever played for the Golden State Warriors this summer league, the California Classic, what Tim Roy told me, he goes, he reminds me of Ron Artest on the court. And now I can't unsee it. The strength, the physicality, the athleticism, picking up 94 feet. You got 2 guys now with Dante DiVincenzo and Jonathan Kuminga who are replacing GP2. This guy in the dunker spot, hitting the corner 3, going to the basket. Kuminga's here. He's here. He's arrived.
You brought up Ron Artest's name, and you know how like when you're off for quite some time, you go down the YouTube rabbit hole? I went down the YouTube rabbit hole on Ron Artest, and I forgot about the elbow that he gave to James Harden.
Oh, at Staples Center.
Where he said he was thumping his chest, and he went whamm, and he hit him so hard.
It was one of the most vicious elbows I've ever seen.
In my entire life, I've never seen an elbow. I mean, that was UFC level. And then he tried to say, yeah, I was thumping my chest. Like, yeah, you thumped your chest, and then,
It was right. It was maybe a year after
my God.
he started talking about his barber, because remember he started getting all the crazy haircuts. His boy Boog in Orlando, we used to cut him up.
Yeah.
And then I remember he was on inside the NBA with TNT guys, and he got into it with Kobe. And that's when Ron Artest said, "Know who you messing with, dude? I'm Ron Artest, Kobe. What the hell you doing, man?"
It started with me searching for the Ron Artest story because he was talking about how physical the play was. And he's sitting down in his locker and he just casually tells a story about how this guy broke off a table and then took the leg of the table and then jabbed it through someone's heart in the middle of a pickup game.
I know.
He's like, and that's why I'm accustomed to physical play. It's like, what?
Ron Artest, man, a different breed. Let's go to Coach of Vallejo. Coach of Vallejo, what's happening? You're on the roast.
Hey, good morning, Bonte.
Good morning.
Sasky, and happy New Year to you
Coach.
Happy New
I'm
Year.
going to let you get in. But my God, I know you're going to come for Jordan Poole. Take a deep breath. He was really good for 4 games.
Let him go.
I know you're coming.
Coach.
Thank you. Okay, here's what I want to say. I would look at the game differently. the Warriors would have won easily if Jordan Poole wasn't 8 for 31. And I've been watching the Warriors play a long time. That had to be a record. No coach would allow a player to continue to play when they're playing that badly. And
11 to 31 yesterday, Coach. 11 to 31. Give him his 3 field goals.
Okay. But both of you had to admit, how many times during that game you said, "Oh no, geez, Jordan, you didn't do. How did you do that? What? Shot 3 or 4 air balls, 5 shots blocked, no defense." And again, what does that tell the rest of the players, that you can play so badly and still can't get on the court? I've never seen a Warrior player get as much leeway as Jordan Poole. And
let me ask you this, Coach. Let me ask you this, Coach, because I know you're crushing him. He's 11 to 31, 2 of 12 from the three-point line. I get it. He wasn't the most efficient. He scored 28 points. He's in his 4th year learning how to – and the turnovers. He's got 27 turnovers in the first 5 games of his homestand. That's not good. However, he's learning how to close games. These are situations he's never been in before with the Golden State Warriors because Steph Curry's been here. Don't you got to cut him some slack here? He's learning as well as Kuminga and Wiseman and Moody and Ty Jerome and Anthony Lamb. Don't you got to cut him a little slack?
I will cut him some slack.
All right.
If we do not try to make him a superstar.
Okay, Coach.
Every promo.
Coach. I want to know, because I'm sick of hearing the Jordan Poole slander. It's unfair. Steph Curry, the first year the Warriors went to the playoffs, all right? The first year. How old was Steph Curry?
21, 20?
No, he was 24 years old. All right. It was his first time.
Okay.
It was his first time cracking 20 points a game as a player. 22 points a game he averaged that year with over 3 turnovers. Do you know what Jordan Poole's averaging at 23 right now? Over 20 points a game with over 3 turnovers. The numbers are. Now, I'm not saying he's Steph Curry, but what I'm saying is you're unfairly criticizing the young man. He's younger than Steph Curry. He's not given the autonomy that Steph was on that early Golden State Warrior first playoff-bound team led by Steph Curry. Let's just pump the brakes a little. He's been great for the Warriors in totality. Last night was a bad game.
Well, I'm glad you at least said that, because he's given more leeway than almost any player on that team. And you both know that they would have won that game last night if he wouldn't have played the way he did.
Well, I know they wouldn't have won the game if they didn't get his 28 points because he had all the guys out, Coach. He had everybody out. Now, I get it. Poole can be frustrated to watch, but he's still growing and developing.
Exactly.
He's still doing that. We can't forget about that. Nobody's crowning him.
Jordan Poole.
I mean, Draymond Green's playing some great basketball right now. I don't know how many players are playing better defense in the NBA outside of Draymond Green. Draymond Green has been unbelievable down the stretch. Block shots, defense on Trey, communicating. Draymond Green had 30 turnovers in 6 games against the Toronto Raptors in the NBA Finals. Now, you're not saying, man, the leeway, oh, my God, you're going to bench him and don't play him or whatnot. Turnovers happen when you're handling the basketball in the NBA. Sometimes he could throw a great pass and somebody doesn't cut. There's miscommunication. Well, guess what? The turnover, you get credited for that turnover, not the other player who mishandles a pass or whatnot. So, look, I get it. The turnovers down the stretch made us all scratch our head. He was doing some goofy stuff last night.
Steph's our favorite player of all time. We all love Steph Curry.
The around the back pass?
I mean, the around the back pass, game 7. Like, the guy doing it around the back to the front row. That just happens.
I don't get why people are. Why do we always have to be angry about certain players? Like Clay and Poole this year, the way they've both been covered has been asinine to me. Well, it's mind-boggling to me how much we're ready to rip these guys. First of all, Clay goes through a 4-game stretch, and it's, oh, my God, he's washed and yada, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. Poole has a couple games where he turns the ball over, and it's like, oh, man, he's a value scorer. Why is he playing? Well, you need him to play. You need the firepower. You need the threat. Not too many guys can stay in front of this kid one-on-one. He will clean it up, but he should be allowed some leeway here in learning how to close games. This is a great experience for Jordan Poole to learn how to close games, to learn how to go against teams' best defender. This is all part of the process for Jordan Poole becoming an all-star one day in this league.
The thing with Jordan Poole that I think that people don't like is arrogance. And I think that there is such a jump to comparing him to Steph Curry, which is so unfair. Steph Curry's a unicorn.
Come on,
but even then, we both agree. Steph Curry's probably the greatest Golden State Warrior to ever wear the uniform.
No doubt.
You want to say
Outside
Wilt? I didn't see Wilt, but yeah, fine, okay? I just showed you the raw data. Curry did not eclipse 20 points a game until he was a 40-plus minute a night guy as a starter on a team where it was his team, and he was able to wheel and deal, and they had no expectations, 2012, 2013. He was 24 years old, and he had more college experience than even what Jordan Poole had. Think about what Jordan's trying to do right now. He's trying to fill the shoes of Steph Curry.
Yep.
He's trying to also be that guy off the bench at times. Like, his role every game changes depending on who's available, who's out there. That's really difficult.
It is.
And I just think that we need to cut him a little slack and pump the brakes on criticizing him. Now, on Klay Thompson, look, I've been at the front of the line ripping Klay Thompson at times, and I feel dumb and foolish. I'll say this about Klay. He has adjusted his game, whether it's the legs, the conditioning. I think his shot selection has been so much better.
I think we could both agree his shots. He was hunting shots.
Yes.
He was hunting shots, trying to get back into rhythm.
Yes.
And he wasn't in a rhythm. That's not the way to play. He's letting the game come to him. And you see yesterday at 54 burger, where I don't think he forced too many shots. You are listening to 95.7 The Game. KGMZ FM and HG1 San Francisco, always live on the free Odyssey app. Download the Odyssey app and favorite 95.7 The Game for the best and most up-to-date sports coverage. And do not forget that you can also watch us every day on our YouTube and Twitch streams. Just log out and search 95.7 The Game. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel while you are there. It's good to be back. Shout out to YouTube. Shout out to Twitch. Shout out to the Xfinity mobile text line. It's so good to see you guys as we're back from vacation. Joe Shasky, the Butcher, Joe Spadoni, Sam Lubman, and yours truly, Bonte Hill. Let's get back out to the lines and talk to Uncle Gene for the first time in 2023. Gene, Happy New Year. What's happening, brother?
Hey, Gene.
Hey, Happy New Year. Hey, I hope your dad's going to be okay there, Joe.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Sure. Hey, that game was so riveting last night. Even my dog watched the last half with her ears sticking out. So, and DiVincenzo, that kid is so good. He needs a nickname. So
Dante's Inferno.
I'll let you guys handle the nickname stuff. I'll let you guys handle the nickname stuff. That's out of my pay grade.
Dagger D with the Dagger D3.
Ooh, I like that.
My mind went somewhere else, but go ahead, Gene.
I want to say something about Green quickly, okay?
Yes.
I mean, in the middle of this resurgence, you can look at Green, who already had a good year up until this homestand. But these last 5 games, Draymond, I think, he's looking like the old Dray. I mean,
yes.
He's stuffing guys 5-6 inches taller than him at the rim. He's got all the energy. I mean, he looks like he did 5 years ago. And it seems to me that he's finally reestablished himself as a leader on this team after that unfortunate incident in the beginning. I think we got our heartbeat back, and with Klay in his resurgence, and we just get Wiggs and Curry back.
Yes.
Kuminga. The sky's the limit, man.
Gene, I noticed a couple of things. The Memphis game, it felt like he let everything come out to the top in terms of emotions, which was refreshing because we needed that. And then I noticed in the Kuminga game, the one that you were referencing earlier, B, where Kuminga hits that shot, like Draymond was like screaming at him in a good way. And I don't know if Kuminga kind of flinched a little and then was totally into it. Seeing him empower the young guys and lift them up and get fired up with them, that to me was one of those Dre's back.
This team's getting close again.
Yes.
It's got the preseason Tokyo, Japan vibes once again with this basketball team. Just being around the team during the holidays, you can tell the vibes are up, the spirits are up, despite Steph and Andrew Wiggins being out of the lineup here. And I go back to, what game was it? Was it Charlotte or was it Utah? But anyway, we get the live feed from NBC, right? And so they show us the timeouts and the huddles.
Yeah.
And Ty Jerome's over there talking, and then Draymond's like, yo, no rotations. I got my guy. You stay there. You stay there. And I'm like, oh, Day-Day's back.
Good.
Draymond's back. And when he's aggressive offensively, they're so much better.
Yes.
But you look at the assist numbers, you look at the rebounds, you look at the critical block shots. Again, I thought Friday against Portland, I'm driving home.
The final 6 minutes.
The final 6, unbelievable. They finished the game with a 16-2 run, and I'm thinking to myself, is anybody playing better defense than Draymond Green right now? He's in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. Now, I don't like to get into awards. We do it. It's just what we do. But before the All-Star game, it seems a little arrogant, a little foolish to start talking about awards and MVPs. But with that said, I'm not sure anybody's playing better defense right now than Draymond Green. He's playing out of his mind right now.
No, he really is. And the thing that we didn't see a whole lot the last couple of years because they had Wiggins and other guys, we haven't seen him out on the perimeter against small guys in crunch time. And he's done that a few times here, and then also switching on to bigger guys and then meeting them at the rim.
He's had some big-time blocks.
Big-time blocks. He's been outstanding. And then offensively, it feels like he's done a really good job with that little shovel pass where he goes and screens. You know, B, the other thing that I noticed was, and this was after the Portland game, the synergy between Klay and Jordan Poole and their chemistry and their friendship and their on-court balance.
Call of 3-1-1.
But doesn't it feel like it's starting to blend just right? Like, I don't think it necessarily was it was kind of clunky early on, and it feels like because of the Steph injury, it has enabled them to learn how to play together a little better.
I'm with you there. I mean, look, winning helps.
Absolutely.
Winning helps. But Fitz hinted at something yesterday on the broadcast before he signed off. He basically was saying that Klay had it. Actually, when they were interviewing Klay Thompson after the double overtime, and Fitz basically said, Klay, do you remember the bus ride from Barclays Center? And Klay was just basically telling everybody, saying, I know we got blown out tonight, but we're about to right this ship. We're close. And the synergy, they got tired of getting their ass kicked on the East Coast. They really did. The whole road thing, 3-16 is all weird. They got back home, and it started with the Memphis game. From Ty Jerome, to Anthony Lamb, the synergy with Kuminga, Klay, Poole, setting the tone in the backcourt, and then Draymond Green. Everything, this is the Warriors' way. Playing with joy. You see Jordan Poole's locker right next to Draymond Green. I know they're conversing a little bit more and more after what happened in training camp. So it is right there. And it's great to see, man, because a lot of people were down on this team before the Memphis game. They're back now.
Oh, I was.
They're back. And let me tell you right now, the arrogance meter is high for you, boy. Oh, it's high.
Is it?
Oh,
I thought it was the outfits you were wearing.
No. Well, that too. The outfits.
You've been very dapper.
Well, even with Festus, like, I don't know what's going on there, man. You know, your boys try, man. New year. Say me? I like that.
Better you.
Oh, no. Akil in Dublin. Akil, what's happening? He's here to defend Jordan Poole before the break.
Thank you.
Akil, what's happening?
Hey, guys, thanks. Yeah, I'm on your side. I don't know why a lot of fans forget this. Defenses have to respect Jordan Poole.
Yep.
Jordan Poole can go off for 40 anytime he wants. I mean, I would argue that yesterday, if Jordan Poole was taken out early, Klay may not have gone his 54 points. Because if you watch that game, the Hawks had to choose, do they double Klay or do they double Jordan Poole? And without Jordan Poole on the court, Klay doesn't get those shots he gets. So, as you said, Joe, I mean, Poole is young, man. He's young. He's 23 years old. He's going to have bad games.
Exactly.
That's Warrior fans have got to have some patience, realize he is part of our future, and he is a threat to any team out there. And with him on the court, Klay, Steph, Wiggins, all these other guys will get their shots because defenses have to respect him.
I'm
totally
with you
agree.
there.
Great call.
I don't get why we overreact to Poole having a bad game.
I think he's an easy person to criticize.
Both of them, for some reason. Why? Because Klay's had the injuries. He's had the struggles. And Jordan Poole's just in his fourth year, and we haven't seen him do it by himself yet.
That's a good point.
So we get jaded by Steph and Dre and Klay and Kevon Looney, by the way, double-double. This is why plus-minus, I know we're going to break here, plus-minus is a flaw stat. That's all you need to know about last night. Looney scores 14, game-winning tip-in, grabs a career-high 20 rebounds, 10 offensive rebounds.
How many pump fakes?
About 1,500. He's a minus 20 in a plus-minus department.
Throw that piece
Plus-minus is a joke. Looney minus 20 yesterday against Hawks. You don't win the game without Lou, dog. What are you doing?